All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon, depending on what part of the country you're joining us from. Coach Kevin Sparks here, and let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'd like to go ahead and do is share my screen with you and share some things that you might find important and helpful. Give me a moment. Screen share. All right. So, first thing I'd like to point out is we have a Facebook group that coincides with this meetup. Let's see if it'll come up here in a moment. Here we go, perfect. And it has the same name as the meetup group, Live Law of Attraction, Money, Wealth, and Success Training. We invite you to come join us. And the way to find us is you can go to your own Facebook profile, go into where it says search Facebook and start typing that in. And you can find us that way. And again, we invite you to come join us. The other way you can find us is you can go directly to facebook.com/groups, plural, /money manifesting coach as one word. So I'll repeat that again, facebook.com/groups, which is plural, /money manifesting coach as one word. So why might you want to join us here on Facebook? A few different reasons. First of all, it's a place where we can interact with each other out of the 45 minutes or hours so we spend with each other each day, Monday through Friday. Also, as long as I remember to hit record, which I typically do, occasionally I might forget, but most of the time I get it. What I do is I take these meetings that we have, these trainings that we have, and then I post them up here. So typically within 24 to 48 hours of the time that you've attended a meeting, you can find it here. Why would you want to go through it? Well, let's say that you attended a meeting and you're like, that was pretty cool. There's something though that you wanted to review and go in more depth on, or maybe you forgot something. You can always come into the Facebook group, you know where to find the video, and you can go watch the recording. What would be the other reason you'd want to do that? Well, when we're going through the different trainings each morning, I like to go through a lot of different material. And sometimes we'll go through something that's only going to take a day. Sometimes we'll go through something that takes a couple of days. Or sometimes we'll even go through something that might take a week. So let's say you're with us Monday, Tuesday, but can't make it on Wednesday. That's all right. But you're back with us Thursday. Can't make it Friday. Well, guess what? You can go watch Wednesday and Friday's Zoom meeting here when it's posted anytime you like. Okay. So that's why you would want to join the Facebook group, and I highly encourage that you do that. What I'll do right now is I will post the link for the Facebook group here into chat, hopefully. Hopefully I had copied it. I thought I had. Well, I will go copy it then. Here we go. So that'll make it a little bit easier for you. The interesting thing about Zoom, though, is if somebody comes in this meeting 1 minute after something is typed into chat, they only see the chat for what was done from the time they got into the meeting. So if you're late, you don't always get all this information. But here you go. You can click that. Just make sure you click it before I shut down the meeting, because then the links and stuff go away. All right. Other thing I want to point out to you, as I was talking about, we go through different material for training, and we are in the process of going through something. And if it's something available that I can get to you for free, I like to tell you where to go get it. That way you can follow along. And I actually, even if I own it, if I can find the free version, I'll actually use the free version of it so that we can actually follow along with each other. So we're currently going through a book called The Science of Getting Rich. It was written by Wallace Wattles, and it was published in 1910. Or the reason I bring all that up, well, of course, you want to know the title of it and who wrote it, but I'm bringing up that it was published in 1910 because people talked and spoke a little bit differently back then than they do today. So just want you to understand the material is written that way. I'm going for me or not? I want to show you where I found the free copy. I have it in paperback, I have it on Kindle, I have it on Audible, but I want to show you where to get a free copy. So all I did was I went to Google and typed in the Science of Getting Rich PDF. And then organically what came up at the top, at least of my search, I don't always take the first thing that comes up when I'm doing this. I look for the one I like best. In this case, though, what came up first, I saw this, The Science of Getting Rich, and then dash The Secret. And I looked at the website it's coming from, and it's thesecret.tv. Well, I happen to know that thesecret.tv is the website that belongs to Rhonda Byrne. Who is Rhonda Byrne? Well, if you've watched the movie The Secret or read the book The Secret, Rhonda Byrne is the creator of The Secret. So I knew that this would probably be a good place to go. So all I did was click on it to see where I could get the free copy. And here's what happens in a moment, anyway, I hope. Here we go. Perfect. There we go. And there's my copy of The Science of Getting Rich. Now, here's the cool thing about this. I didn't have to type anything in or give information or whatever. And then I went ahead and just used my download function, so I have it on my computer. Okay. We're currently, though, on page 23 because we started this back on Monday. I'm going to blow this up a bit so it's easier for you guys to see. As we read this, you guys could follow along if you like to. Maybe I would just blew it up too big. I don't know. Let me see here. Nope, that'll work out okay. All right. So let me get a quick sip of water here. Mouth's getting a little bit dry. So why did I choose to start out this group? I've done groups like this before. They've been very fun, very successful. The people that have gone through the free trainings have loved it. And many of them turned out to end up becoming clients of mine, which is terrific because they wanted even more help. So, but I started a group like this on November 5th of last year. We ran probably until beginning-ish of March. And yeah, it was terrific. We'd have 15, 20 people show up each day, and they were pretty persistent and consistent and a lot of great results. And then again, some of them, they wanted even more of a boost. And I happen to be a law of attraction coach that does one-on-one and group coaching and has some different programs. And some of those people asked me about them and became clients. So if you don't choose to be a client, that's okay. I'm still going to do this. It's still free. Okay. It's just some people wanted that additional help and they felt that I might be the right person to do it. This particular situation, though, I decided to start out with this because this book, not strictly the book, but what's in the book, if you actually absorb it and understand it, can be highly impactful in helping you manifest more money and wealth in your life. When I was originally given this book, this was back in February of 2006, I was given the book, started reading it, got invited to attend a Science of Getting Rich seminar taught by somebody who was a coach and facilitator for Bob Proctor's programs. Some of you might know who Bob Proctor is. If not, he is highlighted heavily in the movie and the book, The Secret, and he has his own book called You're Born Rich. But anyhow, Bob Proctor is going to be 87 this July. He's been in the personal development world for 60 years. And he's actually been teaching and helping people understand law of attraction and how to reprogram your mind, and has become one of the greatest authorities on that. And he also coaches people, has programs. But if you want to be coached one-on-one by him, be prepared to spend a minimum of $250,000, which most people aren't prepared to do. But back in 2006, I was trained by one of his coaches. And so I went through that seminar, got some additional training, and in 2.5 months, because of learning about the law of attraction and how to do it correctly and reprogramming my subconscious mind, at the time, my earnings were $5,000 to $6,000 a month. Before I started doing the trainings and learning what I needed to know. I came out of that in 2.5 months, and for the following, so this was January, February, March of 2006, plus the 3 years prior, I averaged $5,000 to $6,000 a month. That was my income, and I worked 50 to 60 hours a week. After that, my income jumped significantly the following 8 months, so May 1st, 2006 through December 31st, 2006, my income was over $400,000. When you divide that up by the number of months, it ended up being an average of $50,000. Now, it wasn't $50,000 every month. I had a month I made $88,000. I had a month I made 30-something thousand. But I took the average of the rest of the year to see what had happened to my income, and the average was $50,000 a month. So I went from $5,000 to $6,000 a month up to $50,000 a month, and I went from 50 to 60 hours a week worked. Here was the most important part to me. Yes, I wanted the money for sure, but I wanted my time back. I actually wanted lifestyle. I did not set a goal to make $50,000. I learned how to reprogram myself for lifestyle. And a part of lifestyle is having time to enjoy life and not working as much. So my income jumped to $50,000 a month, but even more cool for me anyhow, so I could spend time with the people I love in my family, is my hours work dropped to 15 to 20 hours a week on average. So essentially my hours got cut by 2/3 and my income was multiplied by, depending on how you look at it, 8.5 times to 10 times my normal monthly income. So pretty significant. And then from there forward, I've been an entrepreneur, investor, and helping business consultant and whatnot ever since. I was not a law of attraction coach or teacher. However, a couple of years ago, Bob Proctor's organization reached out to me and said, Kevin, we know you've gone through some of our trainings in the past, and we know you've had some successes. Would you consider being a coach for Bob Proctor and coach his material and learn his style of teaching and training? And I thought, this is a good time in my life to do that. So I took that upon myself. And for the last 2 years, I've been a law of attraction coach. Now, I'm not connected with Bob any longer, no fallouts or anything like that. Still friends with lots of people in the organization, still interact with many of the people that coach for him. But some of us as coaches, as we get doing what we're doing, we decide and feel that we have maybe just a slightly different personality or style. So some people go off and become independent, which is exactly what I've done. So this book, The Science of Getting Rich, was the foundation for my launch to that huge change. So I'm sharing it with you right now because potentially, I mean, like I said, there was more to it than just reading a book, okay? But you may get some ahas from this that help you move forward. And I'm here to do the best I can to help you do that during the time we have each day, all right? So we started on Monday, here we are on Friday, and this is the point where we're at. So if you did go download a copy, go to page 23 and you'll be able to follow along with us. I say 23, it's 23 of the PDF. I don't know if it's 23 of the book. I'm going to start reading right now. And then what I'm going to do is when I feel it's either, necessary or appropriate and helpful, I'll add some commentary while we're going through. But here's the most important thing that hopefully you guys will stick around for, and what people find to be the most valuable. And that is our period of time where we actually have a discussion. I like to leave 10 to 15 minutes at the end to allow you guys to share what you want to share, and also to ask whatever questions you like to ask. And I found getting feedback from different people that you love the materials that we go through each day, but what you really enjoy the most is the actual real coaching that goes on. So as you ask questions, I don't hold back. I actually help you out. Okay. So we'll do that in a little bit. I'll have you come off mute and ask your questions, but that will be after we go through some of this material. So let me get another drink of water here and we'll roll with it. All right, increasing life. Increasing life. You must get rid of the last vestige of the old idea that there is a deity whose will it is that you should be poor, or whose purposes may be served by keeping you in poverty. So if that's your way of thinking, if that's the programming that's in your subconscious mind, it's got to go, okay? You got to have that go away. The intelligent substance, which is all, and in all, and which lives in all, and lives in you, is a consciously living substance. Being a consciously living substance, it must have the nature and inherent desire of every living intelligence for increase of life. Every living thing must continually seek for the enlargement of its life, because life in the mere act of living must increase itself. A seed dropped into the ground springs into activity, and in the act of living produces 100 more seeds. Life, by living, multiplies itself. It is forever becoming more. It must do so if it continues to be at all. Intelligence is under the same necessity for continuous increase. Every thought we think makes it necessary for us to think another thought. Now think about that one. You can't just think a thought and then stay still and have no other thoughts come to you. Okay? Consciousness is continually expanding. Every fact we learn leads us to the learning of another fact. Knowledge is continually increasing. Every talent we cultivate brings to the mind the desire to cultivate another talent. We are subject to the urge of life, seeking expression, which ever drives us to know more, to do more, and to be more. In order to know more, do more, and be more, we must have more. We must have things to use, for we learn and do and become only by using things. We must get rich so that we can live more. He's going to talk to us in a moment about why. The desire for riches is simply the capacity for larger life seeking fulfillment. Every desire is the effort of an unexpressed possibility to come into action. It is power seeking to manifest, which causes desire. So when you have the desire for something in your life, everybody, it's because you have the ability to have that thing happen in your life. Okay. It's not just you coming upon something random, because you wouldn't desire something that you didn't have the ability to be, do, or have. That which makes you want more money is the same as that which makes the plant grow. It is life seeking fuller expression. The one living substance must be subject to this inherent law of all life. It is permeated with the desire to live more. That is why it is under the necessity of creating things. The one substance desires to live more in you, hence it wants you to have all the things you can use. It is the desire of God that you should get rich. Some of you guys might fight that idea here. What do you mean? Let me repeat it. It is the desire of God that you should get rich. Why? He wants you to get rich because he can express himself better through you if you have plenty of things to use in giving him expression. He can live more in you if you have unlimited command of the means of life. Okay? The universe desires you to have everything you want to have. And again, the desire that's created in you is possibility seeking expression. It's because you want to become more than you currently are, do more than you've done, and have more than you've had. And you need to be able to use things to do that. And in order to get the use of those things, you have to have money in order to either rent or buy those things, or you won't get the use of those things. Nature is friendly to your plans. Everything is naturally for you. Make up your mind that this is true. It is essential, however, that your purpose should harmonize with the purpose that is in all. You must want real life, not mere pleasure of sensual gratification. Life is the performance of function, and the individual really lives only when he or she performs every function, physical, mental, and spiritual, of which he or she is capable, without excess in any. Okay? You do not want to get rich in order to live swinishly for the gratification of animal desires. That is not life. But the performance of every physical function is a part of life. And no one lives completely who denies the impulses of the body a normal and healthful expression. You do not want to get rich solely to enjoy mental pleasures, to get knowledge, to gratify ambition, to outshine others, to be famous. All of these are a legitimate part of life, But the man or woman who lives for the pleasures of the intellect alone will only have a partial life, and he or she will never be satisfied with his or her lot. You do not want to get rich solely for the good of others, to lose yourself for the salvation of mankind, to experience the joys of philanthropy and sacrifice. Now it doesn't say you don't want to do any of those things, it's solely those things. The joys of the soul are only a part of life, and they're no better or nobler than any other part. You want to get rich in order that you may eat, drink, and be merry when it is time to do these things, in order that you may surround yourself with beautiful things, see distant lands, feed your mind, develop your intellect, in order that you may love men and do kind things, and be able to play a good part in helping the world to find truth. But remember that extreme altruism is no better and no nobler than extreme selfishness. Both are mistakes because they're extreme. Get rid of the idea that God wants you to sacrifice yourself for others and that you can secure his favor by doing so. God requires nothing of the kind. What he wants is that you should make the most of yourself for yourself and for others. And you can help others more by making the most of yourself than in any other way. You can make the most of yourself only by getting rich. And again, that's because if you want to be, do, or have, you're going to need the use of things. And in order to get the use of those things, you're going to have money to pay for those things. So it is right and praiseworthy that you should give your first and best thought to the work of acquiring wealth. See, you're acquiring it for the right reasons for you to unfold, to be, do, and have what you are inherently desire to do. And that is actually coming from God himself. Remember, however, that the desire of substance is for all, and its movements must be for more life to all. It cannot be made to work for less life to any, because it is equally in all seeking riches in life. Intelligent substance will make things for you, but it will not take things away from someone else and give them to you. You must get rid of the thought of competition. You are to create, not to compete for what is already created. You do not have to take anything away from anyone. You do not have to drive sharp bargains. You do not have to cheat or to take advantage. You do not need to let any man work for you for less than he earns. You do not have to covet the property of others or to look at it with wishful eyes. No man has anything of which you cannot have the like, something the same or very similar or to its equivalent, and that without taking what he has away from him. You are to become a creator, not a competitor. You are going to get what you want, but in such a way that when you get it, every other man or woman will have more than he or she has now. I'm aware that there are men who get vast amounts of money by proceeding in direct opposition to the statements in the paragraph above, and may add a word of explanation here. Men of the plutocratic type who become very rich do so sometimes purely by their extraordinary ability on the plane of competition. And sometimes they unconsciously relate themselves to substance in its great purposes and movements for the general racial upbuilding through industrial evolution. Rockefeller, Carnegie, Morgan, et al. Have been the unconscious agents of the supreme in the necessary work of systematizing and organizing productive industry. And in the end, their work will contribute immensely toward increased life for all. Their day is nearly over. Now remember, this was written in 1910, okay? They have organized production and will soon be succeeded by the agents of the multitude who will organize the machinery of distribution. The multimillionaires are like the monster reptiles of the prehistoric eras. They play a necessary part in the evolutionary process, but the same power which produced them will dispose of them. And it is well to bear in mind that they have never been really rich. A record of the private lives of most of this class will show that they have really been the most abject and wretched of the poor. And that's predominantly because of the way in which they went about acquiring their riches and their wealth and being competitive that way. Riches secured on the competitive plane are never satisfactory and permanent. They're yours today and another's tomorrow. Remember, if you're to become rich in a scientific and certain way, you must rise entirely out of the competitive thought. You must never think for a moment that the supply is limited. Just as soon as you begin to think that all the money is being cornered and controlled by the bankers and others, and that you must exert yourself to get laws passed to stop this process, and so on, in that moment, you drop into the competitive mind, and your power to cause creation is gone for the time being. And what is worse, you will probably arrest the creative movements you have already instituted. Know that there are countless millions of dollars worth of gold in the mountains of the earth, not yet brought to light. And know that if there were not, more would be created from the thinking substance to supply your needs. Know that the money you need will come, even if it is necessary for 1,000 men to be led to the discovery of new gold mines tomorrow. Never look at the visible supply. Look always at the limitless riches in formless substance, and know that they are coming to you as fast as you can receive and use them. Nobody, by cornering the visible supply, can prevent you from getting what is yours. So never allow yourself to think for an instant that all the best building spots will be taken before you get ready to build your house, unless you hurry. Never worry about the trusts and combines and get anxious for fear that they will soon come to own the whole earth. Never get afraid that you will lose what you want because some other person beats you to it. That cannot possibly happen. You're not seeking anything that is possessed by anybody else. What are you doing then? You are causing what you want to be created from formless substance, and the supply is without limits. Stick to the formulated statement. There is a thinking stuff. So this thinking stuff, let me tell you guys what it is if you're brand new with us today, because formless substance thinking stuff is being brought up a lot. Think of on a scientific way, think of the word matter, M-A-T-T-E-R, okay? Or think of the word energy, okay? What do I mean by that? My water bottle right here, my hat right here, my shirt right here, they are all, if you put them under a microscope and go down to their smallest element, you will find out that they're all made out of the exact same stuff. Matter, okay? It's just these are shown to us in different forms right now, okay? Well, the matter actually responds to us. It actually it doesn't sit there and think and create its own thing, but it responds to our thought and to our vibration. That is why the law of attraction is something that you want to learn about, as well as the other 6 laws that govern receiving money and wealth in your life. And not today, but at another time, I'll bring out some different material and go through that, okay? But just understand there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. And Wallace Wattles discussed a little bit, I think it was yesterday, a little more about how this happens. So you probably want to go back and review, start at page 1 and go through, or go watch some of the previous videos from the last few days. And a lot more is going to become clear as we go forward. Let me repeat, man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and pick up here on Monday, how riches come to you. So you definitely want to come back for that. And let me come out of screen share. Wow, bunch of happy smiling faces. Love it, love it, love it. Good to see everybody that's here with us today. We're going to have some additional learning and fun right now. So here's what we're going to do. This is the time where we're going to interact with each other, and you have the opportunity to share comments you would like to share or ask questions you would like to ask. So let me tell you what would be appropriate. As far as what to share, we've been together, some of us, some of you, I think have been here all week. Congratulations. So you can go ahead and comment on anything that we've gone through either today or in the days past so far, okay? So you can comment on the material and what you've been learning and maybe how it's impacting you. What else would be good to comment upon? I would definitely like you guys to share any of the successes you've had in intentionally, I mean this intentionally, utilize the law of attraction to manifest cool stuff in your life, okay? Where you know it was something you put out there and you know that it definitely came to you in that way. To share those types of stories, those are wonderful because they help increase everybody else's belief. All right, questions, what would be appropriate? Anything related to what we went ahead and have gone over in the last few days, or particularly obviously today if it's your first day, but anything we've discussed in the last several days that you have questions about. Also, what is fair game? Is anything in relationship to attracting more money and wealth in your life? So what we're going to do now is, if you would like to comment or ask a question, all you need to do is come off mute and start speaking. If two of you go at the same time, we'll try and figure out who went first, and we'll just take you in the order that you want to share your comments or ask your questions. So it's your time now to go ahead and come off mute and make your comments or ask whatever questions you like.
Hi, Kevin.
Hey, hello, hello. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Sorry I had to leave early yesterday, but yeah, I'm back and I'm so glad because I was thinking about you early this week. And then I checked the Facebook group. I was like, well, let me see if there's any updates in the middle of this week. And then I found out you're doing this. So I'm so excited. And I have to share with you this morning that I got a notification on my phone that Bob Proctor was speaking in a Clubhouse room. And that's that app that I told you about like a few months ago. And he was like answering people's questions and it was so cool. And I didn't have a question for him. So I was like, well, let me think of a question. And then I raised my hand and it was too late, but it made me realize that all the people that I want to talk to and that I want to work with or whatever it may be that inspire me, I should have like questions ready to go so that when that moment comes, like it's not last minute or anything like that. So yeah, it's good to see you.
Well, unless it was a question only Bob could answer, I'm happy to answer it.
Yeah, I was wondering, so I'm working on my craft every single day with voice acting. You know, I write it down as if I already have it and I stay in a positive vibration and I'll do some voiceover work and then I'll get direction from the director to tell me to redo it a different way or just fix one thing and like make it brighter or something like that. And sometimes I redo it and it lands perfectly and other times it doesn't. And it's as if their direction just went through one ear and out another without being like absorbed to allow me to actually do what they want. How, if you have any advice on how I can get it to land successfully over time, and I'm wondering if you have any advice on how to be better at my craft with that. Is it about having the feeling of it landing successfully prior to going for it and doing your performance? Is there something that I'm missing?
You know what, you're catching on to it all, because of course you and I spent a few months together in the previous group. So here's what I would tell you, the advice that I would say that I would do. You know, you said every time. Now still is, even Bob Proctor makes mistakes, FYI. So, and he'll admit that. So most of his life is pretty smooth and goes really well, but occasionally something's out of whack and he has to fix or change it. But he recognizes what happened and it's usually a quick fix. Okay, so I wanted to share that. So it may not happen every time, but let's say you want it to happen at least most of the time, right? Where bam, nailed it. Okay. What I would spend my time doing, interestingly enough, is on the other side, which is what you talked about. Since you don't know what you're going to be asked to do, what you ought to do is there a particular person that is that coach or that that is critiquing your work all the time, or is it different people at different times?
It's different people, but I am going to take like a 2-day class with Debbie Derryberry, who's the voice of Jimmy Neutron and many others. And I'm just
Cool.
like, I want to be ready for this and I want to take her direction.
All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. So you've already, I mean, you've decided you're going, you're going to be in that class, right?
Yes, correct.
Perfect. All right. So this might be kind of fun for you. It's not competitive, but it might feel a little competitive to some other people if you do this correctly, because you're going to do a very good job, and some of them will be like, wow, that's amazing, and some will be jealous. Okay. Picture yourself having a conversation in the middle of one of it's 2 or 3 days, you said?
Yeah, it's on Sunday and Monday.
Okay. So picture yourself that every time that a question is asked from whatever, the stage, the pulpit, wherever this person is at, one, that you already know the answer to the question when questions are being asked. And you don't have to fully take over, but you're able to respond and add value to the conversation. So picture yourself supporting her, it's a her, right? Supporting her in what she's actually teaching and agreeing with, okay? So that you're actually almost like another teacher helper. Not this isn't brown nosing, you're going to add value, but picture yourself adding value so that the other people in the room are looking at you, so that when you go on breaks, because you'll have a break here or there, whatever, lunch, or hey, we're going to take a 15-minute break, or whatever, however that functions, to where the people in the room love her as a teacher and as the person doing the critiquing, but they come up to you because they're like, man, you're nailing this thing, you know this stuff, you're amazing, can I stay in contact with you, or whatever. So you're going to actually have students in the room attracted to want to actually be around you because you're doing such a good job. So I want you to visualize it going like that. The other part is I want you to visualize that sometime in the process that you're going to feel almost like she is taking you on as her teacher's pet. Okay. Where she's like, you're so helpful and your vibration is so good and you're so happy and you're adding so much value that you're actually helping take some of the weight off of her shoulders. And because you're so what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I know it, but it's slipping my mind at the moment. Basically, you're so supportive of who she is and what she's doing and how she does it. The edification, you're edifying her so much in a good way. Again, not only if you believe this stuff, okay? If you don't like her and you probably wouldn't take the class if you didn't like her, but you're edifying in such a way that she feels uplifted. When other people make good comments that are literally good comments, you find ways to edify them or see them outside on break or whatever. They're coming to you and you said something good, but you remember what other people are saying too, so that you can comment back to them. It's not tit for tat, like, oh, you're awesome, oh, so are you. That would be dumb. Okay. But you just picture yourself to where it almost feels like now that this teacher is teaching this class for you because this person likes you so much. And the other people in the room, the majority of them are on board with that. They feel it too. There might be someone there that's a little jealous that you're getting that attention, but picture yourself having this amazing experience to where you feel like you just became the best friend of the teacher up there, and the teacher becomes your best friend, and they're like, hey, you know what, if you want to have conversations on the side or whatever, here's my personal cell phone number. You're awesome, you're going to totally be a hit out there, and I would love to work with you more.
That's so helpful. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's all on Zoom. And she asked me like what it's called, copy for the script,
Okay.
for the little sides for the character. And she's like, do you want to do a boy or a girl? And I was just like, whatever you want to throw at me for the character, just, whatever kind of exercise to stretch my muscles and get better.
Awesome.
Hi, Kevin. I have a question for you.
Okay. Hi, Susan.
Hi. And I would have my video on, but I'm in the middle of a store.
Okay, that's fine.
The reading that you said had today, how does one tap into that subconscious those feelings or that embedded belief that you aren't worthy of
Uh-huh.
riches.
Okay. So it's a little bit of a process. Okay. So meaning there are things that you want in your life, but you don't necessarily feel worthy of having them. Is that kind of a shortened version of what you just asked?
See, I don't believe I have that or feel that,
Okay.
but I want to make sure there's nothing down deep from childhood or past
You know
that
what?
is there
Okay.
that I'm unaware of.
Yeah. First of all, you actually don't have to. I know. So let me share. This is good. Good question. Let me share something with everybody because we have this habit of wanting to do this, and it's not a good habit. But 99.999 point. I mean, we as a world, we want to do this. We tend to share our past with others because we want to be understood. We want to feel like there's other people just like us, right? We want to have that connection and that communication. However, your subconscious mind forgets nothing. Now, you might try to remember something instantly, and it may not come to you when you want it to until you program yourself and get used to doing that. But your subconscious mind forgets nothing. So, for those people that are trying to clear up their past so they can move forward by talking about their past, that's what psychologists and psychiatrists would like to do. It doesn't work in helping you manifest what it is that you really want. Your subconscious mind can't tell the difference between something happening right now and something happening in the past. So when you bring up your past, you're reliving your past at an emotional level. And what happens, the thing that impresses your subconscious mind and programs you is repetition and emotion. And so when you back repetition and strong emotion, what are you doing to your subconscious mind? You're just implanting it in deeper. So the only way to know if your past is in your way is if you want something today and you're striving for it and you're following the laws, which you're learning. And so you're obeying the laws and your subconscious programming is not in opposition. Then whatever it is that you want will come to you and it will come to you pretty easily. If you're having a challenge of some sort, receiving what it is you want into your life, one of two things are happening. You are disobeying some of the laws potentially, and or you have a subconscious program that's in opposition to what you want. Now, the cool thing about it is both of those things can be taken care of. One, you can learn the laws and what they really mean and how they really interact with each other so that now you're obeying the laws. The other thing you can do is reprogram your subconscious mind so that it accepts what you want to be normal versus accepting what you've had in the past to be your normal. Because once it accepts a new image of yourself to be normal, it will help move heaven and earth to make sure that new image of yourself is normal. So you won't know if you got past unless you want something and you're struggling to have it happen. Then you know there's a program and you don't have to dig to where it came from. If you go dig to where it came from and then you start talking to everybody about it, oh yeah, if you start sounding like a country western song, I'm not against country west, but I'm saying, the dog bit me and the beer spilled on me and the truck got wrecked and all this stuff. Well, you're just by repeating what happened to you that you don't like, you're just going to get more of the same. You won't get the exact same thing, but you will get that which is in a similar vibration and you'll create more havoc for yourself. Did anything I say help you, Susan?
1,000%. Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody else? Comments or questions?
Yes. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, John.
Yeah, hi. I have a question following what you just said. How do you reprogram your subconscious mind?
Okay. There's only two ways that your subconscious mind gets programmed in the first place. Therefore, the same ways they get reprogrammed. Okay. It's through repetition of a thought, which creates a feeling, by the way. because all thoughts are going to create feelings. And if it's a good feeling, you know that it's something that you'll enjoy having in your life. If it's a bad feeling, you know that it's something in opposition to what you want to have in life. So how most people, the thing that happens to most of us, a lot of it happened when we were younger. We were just, think of your head as this big circle. And not a circle, think of it more as like a ball, like a globe or a basketball. I'm not going to draw this right now, but think of your head as kind of like a basketball or a globe. And you now cut out the top right in the very middle. Okay. Think of the top half of the globe as your conscious mind, and the bottom half is your subconscious mind. Okay. Well, when you are young, like ages like infant to about 7, 8 years old or so, you don't have a lid on top of your subconscious mind. It's just wide open. So your environment around you and everything that your parents believe and your siblings believe, your aunts and uncles believe, and school believes and whatnot, everything up till about age 8 that you're exposed to is going to instantly be accepted by your subconscious mind. And if it's repeated over and over and over again, it becomes ingrained even more. And then what happens is we eventually get a filter somewhere around 7, 8-ish, 9 years old, and we're able to now consciously choose when something comes to us to accept it or reject it. Now, we may not become good at that because we're not used to accepting or rejecting an idea. So we may still take everything in, especially if it's coming from our parents, our siblings, our teachers, our schools, our environment. But that's how it got in there in the first place. There's another way it got in there. Let's say you're 11, 12 years old and you're in school. And for whatever reason, I'm not saying you specifically, John, but you're the person that gets bullied or picked on, okay? Or something happens to you that's very traumatic in your life. A brother gets hit by a car and passes or something. That is going to affect you at a subconscious level for sure. That was very dramatic and very emotional. So your subconscious mind instantly got programmed. It wasn't the repetition that programmed it at that point. That was instantaneous programming. Okay. So it is through a very strong emotional experience and or repetition of thought that you program your subconscious mind. So the way that you got programmed in the first way, it's exactly the same way you have to go about reprogramming your subconscious mind. You have to take a particular thing that you want and get your subconscious mind to accept it as normal versus the old program that's in there. So let's say the old program that's in there is I'm broke, and the new program you want is I'm rich. You can set goals for money. You could go to workshops, you could take seminars about how to create an online business or be a real estate investor. But as long as your subconscious program is I'm broke, you ultimately, even if you start making some headway, your program is going to drag you back into I'm broke. Okay. So now you go, okay, great. I don't want to be broke. I want to be wealthy. Well, the best thing to do is to put yourself in a situation that is calm and peaceful, and it's going to take some time, and see yourself living your life the way you want it to be, not the way it currently is. And what you're going to have to do, and it's going to talk more about it in the book, you're going to have to learn how to filter out and not choose to believe what your 5 senses are now feeding you. Because you hear, smell, taste, see, hear, taste, smell, and touch. Most of the things that come into you, especially beliefs, are going to come in through what you see and what you hear, right? That's the way most of that's going to come into you. So what happens is you look at your checkbook, I'm broke, and then you see your checkbook and there's no money in the checkbook. You're reinforcing that you're broke to your subconscious mind because your senses, well, isn't that real? I want to be real and honest with myself. No, you don't want to be real and honest with yourself. You want to utilize your imagination, ignore that, and picture the life as you really want it to be. It's going to take some time, and I'll talk more as we go through different material that will help you do that, particularly a book. You could start on it now if you want. We'll get around to it eventually in the next month or so. called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I just repeated, so either you can watch the recording or hopefully you wrote that down, but it goes through how you got programmed, how your subconscious mind truly does work, and then how to go about reprogramming it. But that's why, by the way, you had a great question, John, because some people learn the laws and they learn about the law of attraction and they have some success, but not complete success. But they wonder why these things are manifesting, but these things I really want. Like I can manifest my cup of coffee. I can manifest the parking spot. I've had all these cool things. I watched The Secret, read the book The Secret, and then for the next month and a half, you're on cloud 9 because you're manifesting things right and left. But then you come to this screeching halt, and it seems like the things that you really want aren't manifesting anymore. It's because it hasn't become subconscious for you. It worked for you for just a little bit. So and I say law of attraction never stops working. It's always in operation. It's just you're not in alignment with it any longer because your subconscious programming is in opposition to it. So you will never outproduce or out manifest is the better way to put it. You will never have on the outside what you don't believe about yourself on the inside. It's your self-image that's going to determine what shows up on the outside. And your current self-image is based upon all of those programs that have been running, that have been deposited into your subconscious mind. Because predominantly our life, we are really 97, 98% of what we do throughout the day. And even what we think, it's just repetition of programs that are running from the past. Does that help you out a little bit, John?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I know we're past time, and I'm not holding anybody hostage. If you're here for the very first day, you're like, hey, he went past 45 minutes. Yeah, I have. And that's fine. We've done the meat. We've done the most of what it is, meaning I shared the book. We've now had some discussion. And if you have to go, I understand it. Don't feel like you're held hostage. And like, oh, I've got to be here for an hour or an hour and 15 minutes. No, you don't. When I have time to be helpful, sometimes I'll stick around just a little bit longer to answer a few more questions. So if you need to go now, totally understand it. And you know where you can find the recordings. But I'm willing to stick around for about another 5 or 6 minutes if anybody has any other comments or questions.
Hi, Kevin. Can you make a suggestion for a book in regards to zeroing in on your goals? I'm feeling like this process would be so much more accurate if one knows exactly what one wants.
Okay.
If you're unclear, is there any kind of book or author you would point me towards?
Yeah, I will. Have you been with us any other days, or is this your first day?
This is my first.
Okay. Anybody who is your first day or whatever day, if you're got somewhere to take some notes, let me give you a good let's get started point. How's that? That sounds like what you like, right, Susan?
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Okay. First thing you're going to do is you're going to go to Google. You're going to go to YouTube. And you're going to type this in, Steve Harvey 300 list. And you're going to watch a video that's like 8 or 9 minutes long by Steve Harvey. Okay. Steve Harvey 300 list. And it is that Steve Harvey, the one on Family Feud, the comedian. It's him. Okay.
I was about to ask. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So you're going to watch it and you're going to do exactly what he says in that video. Okay. You're going to take his challenge and he's going to challenge you to write out 300 things or more, but not less. Most people won't do it. I'll tell them they should, but they won't. You guys on here are more likely to do it because you're obviously interested in improvement, or you wouldn't take the hour today to be here, right? But the first thing you want to do is watch that video and do exactly what he says before you do anything else. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to get this book, and you can get it for free. You can Google it. You can also YouTube it. When I say YouTube it, because somebody is going to do it as an audiobook, and you can listen to it. I prefer you read it. And then after you read it, you can listen to it as much as you want. I recommend you read it every day until you finished what it asks you to do. And even afterwards, you ought to read it. But this book is called It Works, just IT and then WORKS. The author is kind of unknown on purpose. He wanted it to be that way. But some people over the years, because it's a very old book, but over the years, people have come to find out that the guy's initials were RHJ, I believe. So you'll know what it is. If you find it on YouTube, it's going to be about 13 to 14 minutes long. So you'll know. If you find the book itself, it's only going to be a few pages. Because if you can read it in 13, 14 minutes, it's not going to be very long. So It Works. What is It Works? It Works is the Reader's Digest version of how the law of attraction works. It's about the shortest amount of description you can possibly get, that if you were to follow those instructions, it still would work for you. If there's an if here, it won't work if you do it. You have to actually believe it though too. That's one of the things. If you don't have the belief, it's not going to work. But if you were like a little kid and kid said, hey, how do I do this? And they totally believe in their parent says, go read this book, do what it says, you'll get what you want. And the kid actually did it because they believe in what their parents say, that kid would get everything they wanted by just applying. So that is how, even though it's short, it's very powerful. Okay. One of the activities that book is going to ask you to do is it's going to ask you to narrow down what you want. So Steve Harvey's going to say, open up the world, use your imagination, put down everything and take that challenge. Then the other book is going to say, great, now you're going to rank that by order of importance. Don't even try to rank 300 things by order of importance, okay? But pick what you think might be the top 10, 15, 20 things, and then rank those by order of importance and do what he says. And then the other thing is come back here, okay? But that would get every one of you onto a wonderful start if you were to do what I just told you to do. Is that helpful?
Thank you so much. Thank
Yes.
you.
Very, very, very welcome. Okay.
I think you brought up It Works either Tuesday or Wednesday, and I listened to it the same night and have been listening to it. So I thought it was pretty good. So thank you for sharing it.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Did you do the Steve Harvey thing?
I told you that I was working on it.
Yeah.
I was still adding to my list. So yeah, no, the list it's still going.
It's a work in progress still, right?
Yeah, it's a work in progress. I think I told you I started it back in January without knowing that I was doing that.
Yeah.
So I just started the list over again. So I'm just adding to it. So I think the last time we spoke, I was up to 27. So now I'm at like 60 something. So I'm
Okay,
gonna keep
cool.
going. Yeah,
Cool.
I'll keep going.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Any last questions or comments for today?
So you want us to complete this Steve
Harvey
Allen challenge and the go through the It Works material going forward?
Yeah, especially, I mean, we're not going to see each other till Monday at the earliest, right? So if you want something to do over the weekend, that would be awesome. The It Works book, like I said, it's only 13, 14 minutes to read or listen to it. So it's not long. The Steve Harvey video itself is 8 or 9 minutes long. The activity that Steve Harvey is asking you to do, how long is that going to take? It's different for everybody. I was building my list, and I've already had success with law of attraction and making money in businesses and stuff. And I started doing my list for the first time, and I got up to, I think, 121, 122 before I slowed down, like to where it was like, okay, I'm really thinking about this stuff now. Some of you guys you'll hit 20 or 30. Some of you will hit 75 or what. It doesn't matter. You don't stop. And the idea is you don't stop until you finished it. But that doesn't mean you sit there, right, and don't move a muscle until you finished it. Go take a break. But what I'm saying is you don't bury it in a closet somewhere or in a drawer. and then pick it up 5 months from now and finish it. That type of habit is not what you want to create when you want to manifest what you want in your life. You want to create the habit of taking something you learn and applying it right away, so that now your subconscious mind goes, oh, okay, when it comes to learning law of attraction, Patrick takes action, meaning your own subconscious mind is going, okay, I'm going to help you then. If every time you read something or learn something, you write down some things that you're going to do about it, and you actually go do what it is you wrote down, then your subconscious mind goes, okay, you're a person who follows through. So a lot of times the reason we also don't have what we want is we're good at getting started and crappy at finishing. And some of us are really bad at even getting started at stuff. So everybody has their own personality, right? But those personality traits, they're just programs. They're just subconscious programs. Is that helpful?
One quick question, which I like, how granular do you get? Do you go like
The 300 list?
I want coppered ceilings. I
Yeah,
want hardwood, like, what do you say?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
At some point you're going to go there. The 300 list, just get the generic out. Or I'd say generic. He's going to say and go into as much detail as, if the detail comes right away, then do it. But if it's just, I want a new car, and you haven't made up your mind what kind of new car you want, that's okay to start there, right? But if you already know that you want a, red Porsche 911 with tan interior, with heated and cooled seats, with the PDK transmission, and you know that already, then for that thing, write it that way. But ultimately, you'll add more detail after you do the it works part of it. You'll add the most detail to the stuff that's the most important right now, because that is what you're going to want your subconscious to put its bigger focus on. That's the reprogramming you're going to want, because that really is highest on your priority. Like this is, and by the way, it's what you really want. It's not about what someone else thinks you should want. It's what you want. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I need to get going and do some other things today. Hopefully I'll see you guys and gals again back here on Monday. And everybody, you have an awesome, amazing, wonderful weekend.
Have a good
Thank you
weekend.
so much. This was amazing.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.